If you live in the English-speaking world, you most likely have never heard of this war, despite how influential the British were to this event. Today, I'm going to share with you how Uruguay unintentionally became an independent nation. It all started back in the early 1800s, when the United Provinces of the Rio de la Plata and the Empire of Brazil both became independent. Once these nations were free from the shackles of European imperial powers, they soon realized they inherited a land dispute over what was Brazil's Cisplatine province. At first, the United Provinces didn't mind Portuguese intervention, but then they wanted the province back. So the United Provinces urged the citizens of Cisplatine to rise against Brazilian rule. In 1825, delegates from the Cisplatine province met in La Florida and declared independence from Brazil. But instead of becoming its own country, the Cisplatine province switched their allegiance to the United Provinces. As a result, Brazil then declared war on the United Provinces. At the time, Brazil was a major naval power, with 96 warships. Both countries had similar trading connections, but the United Provinces lacked in naval strength. Their entire navy consisted of half a dozen warships and a few gunner boats that were used for defending their ports. Both navies were also short on sailors, so they each relied heavily on foreign officers and men. Most of these men were British. Some noteworthy foreign officers include the Irish-born Admiral William Brown for the United Provinces and the English-born Commodore James Norton. Once war began, the Brazilians immediately imposed a blockade on the River Plate and on trading in Buenos Aires. Admiral Brown's squadron initially had some success defending against the Brazilian Navy, but they were eventually destroyed by Brazil's superior numbers. The blockade significantly reduced trade and caused severe economic problems in Buenos Aires. However, on land, the United Provinces were able to invade Brazilian territory. Pedro I planned a counterattack to the invading forces with a small army of Brazilian volunteers and European mercenaries. The recruiting process was difficult due to other local rebellions throughout Brazil, which eventually led Pedro to retreat back to Rio de Janeiro and give up command of his small army. The counterattack eventually stopped at the Battle of Ituzaingó. After this battle, it was kind of a stalemate. The United Provinces failed to capture land in Brazil, along with having significant economic problems from the blockade. Brazil, on the other hand, lacked the manpower for a full-scale land attack on the United Provinces, along with growing public pressure to end the war. This led both sides to agree for a peaceful solution. Both sides agreed to discuss peace terms with the mediation of Great Britain. Lord John Ponsonby was chosen as the mediator of these terms. The United Provinces did not want Brazil to retain ownership of the Cisplatine province, while Brazil wanted to retain ownership of both Misiones Orientales and the Cisplatine province, in addition to having free navigation of the Plata River. Ponsonby heard their demands and then proposed the idea of an independent Cisplatine to re-establish peace on the Plata River, in addition to Brazil retaining ownership of the Misiones Orientales and free navigation in the Plata River. The United Provinces initially opposed this deal, but later on agreed and signed the Treaty of Montevideo. And just like that, the Cisplatine province became independent under a new name, known as the Eastern Republic of Uruguay. This was not the outcome that either side really wanted, but they kind of had to deal with it. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new, and if you are not subscribed already, I recommend doing so to get instant updates on when I upload next. And with all that said, I hope to see you in the next chapter.